Hi, today I'm going to take you through the Pentatonic Toolkit. This is basically taking all the information you need to know about the pentatonic scales and putting it in one place. So here you can see the landing page. We have some buttons to navigate the system. We have the pentatonic overview. We have our 5 pentatonic shapes, and we have an info button. You can also get to the info page by clicking this eye up at the top here. The info page gives you some more information on the systems that I offer, and you can give me a shout at this email address. If you're new to music theory, you can click on this link here and it'll be a quick overview of some music theory. If we go onto the pentatonic overview, on the first page, it just gives you a breakdown of what the pentatonic scale is from a minor and a major perspective. We can then go and look at the pentatonic notes. So this is a fretboard. I'm not putting any fret numbers or notes on here because all of these shapes are movable. So across the fretboard, if we were looking at all the pentatonic notes, this would be deemed as shape 1. And shape 1 applies to both major and minor pentatonic. So this would be shape 1 for major pentatonic and minor pentatonic. Some systems have this shape as shape 1 for the minor pentatonic, and this shape next to it as shape 1 for the major pentatonic. In this system, this is shape 1 for both major and minor. Okay, if we go and look at the 5 pentatonic shapes, you can see this blue square has got shape 1, the yellow is shape 2, green is shape 3, light blue is shape 4, and purple is shape 5. And you can see all the shapes connect to each other. The right-hand side of shape 1 is the left-hand side of shape 2. And the right-hand side of shape 2 is the left-hand side of shape 3. So they all connect to each other. So the one side of the one shape is the beginning side of the shape next to it, if that makes sense. So there are your 5 shapes. Here we can look at the fretboard. This is the minor pentatonic. So all the blue notes. You could move this around as long as you put the blue note here on whatever root note you want to play. So if you want to play a minor pentatonic, you put this root note on the note A on the E string and play this shape, you will be playing the A minor pentatonic. If you are looking to play on the 5th string, you could put this root note on whatever note you're looking for, say C, then you would be playing this shape, you would be playing C minor pentatonic. If we look at it from a major perspective, you can see the shapes are identical, but the root note is in a different place. So now if you place this red root note, being the major root note, on an A, and you play this shape, you would be playing an A major pentatonic. Where if we look, the shape is identical, but if we make this note here the root note, and we put that on A and play this shape, that would be A minor. So you can see the shapes are the same, it's just the root notes are moving. And here you can see the combined picture where there's your minor root note. If you put that on the note you want to play, you would be playing the minor pentatonic. If you put the red root note on whatever root note you're looking for when you played the same shape, it would be the major pentatonic. So that's a pentatonic overview. We'll now do a deep dive into shape 1. That's the most popular shape, and that's the shape that is free in the demo version of the system. If you want the other 4 shapes, you can send me an email on the information page, and we can have a chat about that. But here we can see we have our minor shape, and again, all these patterns are movable. So wherever you put this blue circle on whatever note, it would be that minor pentatonic scale. So bear in mind they're movable. Underneath it, we have the major shape. Again, instead of using that note, we can use where the red root note is. If we put that on A, that would be A major pentatonic if we played this shape. If we look at the minor shape with regards to its intervals, here you can see it's the root of the 1, flat 3, 4, 5, and flat 7. So those are the interval names for the minor pentatonic. If we look at the major intervals, it is root, 2, 3, 5, and 6. So the shapes are the same, but because we're starting in different places, the intervals change. If we look at the minor pentatonic, we can add in the blue note. So just once you've mastered your minor shape, you can start working on the minor pentatonic with the added blue note, and that's that note here and there, and that helps you sound a little bit more bluesy. We can do exactly the same in the major shape. We can add the blue note in, and that gives you a bit of a country kind of feel. If we're looking at where do we progress from learning our first shape, so we've learned this shape, we've learned how to add the blue note in. Now we want to start expanding. So now we're looking at shapes 1 and 2. So this is our first shape that we've learned. Now we're going to start expanding to the neighboring second shape. All you need to do here is start playing and moving between these shapes. You can do whatever order you want. You just get used to moving around between shape 1 and its neighboring shape 2. And again, as I said earlier, the right-hand notes of shape 1 are the left-hand notes of shape 2 because they're connected. And you can do exactly the same with the major. It is exactly the same shapes, just the root note is different. So when you're playing, you would start and end your phrases on the red note and not the blue note now to make it sound major. Now that we've learned how to play our shape 1 and move across to our shape 2, let's go back to the shape that is on the left-hand side. So we're going to move this pattern up a bit. And now we have our shape 1 here for the minor pentatonic. And to the left of it, we have shape 5. So we've learned how to move to the right into shape 2. We're now going to learn to move to the left into shape 5. And there you can see the root notes. So you want to get used to moving between shape 1 and shape 5. As long as you ending your phrases on the blue notes, it's going to sound great. So if we have a look at that now from a major perspective, the notes are identical, the shape is identical. We're just going to end our phrases on the red root note now to make it sound major. So if you wanted to do an A major, you would put this red note on A on the 6th string, and you would play this shape focusing on these red root notes, and that would sound major. If you put this blue note on A and played the same shape focusing on the blue notes, it would be A minor, and it would sound a little bit bluesier and darker. So now we've learned our shape 1, we've gone to the right into shape 2, we've gone to the left into shape 5. Let's have a look at all of them together. So here we have our minor position, shape 1, we have our shape 2 to the right and our shape 5 to the left, and we can now practice moving between all 3 shapes. So now we're starting to learn how to move around the fretboard a little bit better. We can do exactly the same. Again, we're not reinventing the wheel. The notes are in exactly the same places. We're just targeting a different root note. So that's our major perspective with shape 5, 1, and 2. We can then start looking at our extended minor shape. So here we have our shape 1. We can add a little box here at the top and a little box here at the bottom, and we can start sliding between these notes here. So this is a more common movable shape. We have the extended shape for major 2. It's again exactly the same shape, but we're starting it on a different root note to make it major. We then have our minor 2-3 pattern. So if we are starting on this note here, that would be a minor. We have 1, 2 notes on a string, and then we drop down and we have 3 notes on a string. So we play 1, 2. We can either slide from this note to this note and play that note, or we can play this note, play that note, and slide down to this note. That's totally up to you. But here we play 2. We drop down, we play 3. We drop down to the next string, we play 2. We drop down, we play 3. Because of the B strings tuning, we have to move everything up a fret, but we drop down 2 and we play 3. So you can see this little 2-3 pattern is repeated 3 times. So that's why we call it the 2-3 pattern. For minor, we start here, we put this note on our note that we want to play, say A or G in this case. If we were looking at a guitar fretboard, this would be the G note. This would be a G minor. We would play these 2, these three. Drop down, play 2, drop down, play 3. And there you would be playing your minor pentatonic across the entire fretboard, and you can see all the frets that we've covered. We've gone all the way from here, all the way to here. If we look at the major version of that, it's called the 3-2 pattern. So here again, I'm starting on G, just because it's the 3rd fret, say, but we can move these shapes anywhere. Here we play 3, and again, you can slide from the 1st note to the 2nd, and then play the 3rd. You can play the 1st and the 2nd note, and then slide to the 3rd note, totally up to you. But you play 3, you drop down, you play 2. You drop down, you play 3, you drop down, you play 2. Again, we move this note up 1 because of the tuning of the B. We play 3, and we play 2. So if you wanted to play major pentatonic in this nice movable shape, you would do 3 notes, 2 notes, 3 notes, 2 notes, repeated the whole way through. And here I've added this additional note at the end just so that you can end on a root note. So you play your 3-2, 3-2, 3-2, and slide up to this note, which is going to be 2 additional frets, so 2 frets in between these 2 notes here. So that's your 2-3 for minor and your 3-2 for major pattern. And then we have an additional movable pattern, just to start trying to get into a little bit of lead guitar. We're starting on our pattern 1, minor pentatonic, it's blue, our minor root note will be there. We start our pentatonic shape 1, and here you can see this green highlighted area in the middle. Our D and G strings, for these movable patterns for every shape, we're always going to move on the D and on the G for this movable pattern. So we play the 6th string, the 5th string. On the D string, or the 4th string, we slide down and we play these 2 notes. We drop down, we play these 2 notes, but again, because we're moving to the G string, we slide again, and then we finish off. There's the B. We've got to move 1 up, and we finish off. So remember, this little green area here is a highway. We always slide down on the D and again on the G string. So that's a nice movable pattern. And again, we have the exact same pattern with the root note for the major pentatonic. We put that note on the note that we want to play the scale for, say A, and we play the shape. And again, we're always sliding on the D and the G. And that would be repeated for all the shapes. We have our little highway in the middle of the fretboard. And that's just a different shape to be able to move up and down the fretboard. So that is a bit of a summary of the Pentatonic Toolkit. The demo version has the overview and shape 1. The full version has all 5 shapes. But that gives you a bit of an idea of what it's all about. If there are any questions, please go to info and send me an email, and you can check out the music theory there too. Thanks so much. Bye.